The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shaylin Herrick. I'm the Director of Marketing here at SOS Online Backup. I hope you all are doing well. If you haven't familiarized yourself before with the GoToMeeting screen, please familiarize yourself with a questions box. And that question box will be used for you to ask me questions and make sure that we cover certain points that you want to cover all throughout the webinar. So first of all, can I please get a quick check on audio and visual? Please type in the questions box and let me know if you can hear me and you can see the screen okay. All right. Derek Pike says all okay for Derek Pike. All right, fantastic. So while we wait for a few more people to jump on the line, I am going to put a poll here up on the screen, and that will help me tailor the presentation to you. Okay. The poll is now open. So the question is, how many servers are you looking to back up for your clients? 1 to 5, 5 to 15, 15 to 25, and 25 plus. And if you're also interested in taking a minute to type in what kind of businesses your clients are and what kind of businesses you are going to be backing up, that would be great too. Then we can talk about specific issues that might be of interest to them. All right, great. We've got 70% voted. I'll go ahead and turn off the poll now. Thank you all for participating. So it looks like most of you are backing up between 1 and 5 servers and 5 to 15 servers. Okay, that's excellent. That's definitely the sweet spot for our SOS ServerSafe product. And Lloyd says, I would like to look into backing up Outlook files and desktop data. Lloyd, you are in the right place. This is exactly what we are going to talk about with SOS ServerSafe. Okay. So on my screen, you should see our webinar introduction screen. And here's the little agenda about what we're going to talk about today. We're going to go through an industry overview. So you probably noticed cloud backup becoming very, very popular and definitely a buzzword over the last like 6 to 12 months, maybe even longer. So we're going to talk about why that is and how the industry is growing and what parts of the industry are growing and how you can take advantage of this opportunity. And then we're going to talk about what is the SOS 360-degree partner program and what is ServerSafe and why have we included it in the SOS 360-degree partner program. We'll go through some features and benefits, and then finally we will do a demo of our product with our partner delivery team support specialist, Steven Zayas. And if you do sign up as a partner, you'll be working very closely with Steven, so it's a good intro for you. Okay, so SOS Online Backup has been an industry leader in online backup since really 2001. We've been an industry leader in backup since 2006, since that was when the company moved to Los Angeles. It was started in Melbourne, Australia, literally in a dorm room, like many high-tech stories are. We have over 500,000 active customers, and actually, this slide should be updated. We have over 700 value-added reseller and MSP partners around the world. That includes the United States as well as the UK. In fact, some of our largest partners are in the UK. So why has online backup been propelled to the monstrosity that it now is? One of the big reasons is that SMBs are now starting to step into online backup. They are starting to use online backup to back up their entire businesses, not just pieces of their businesses. And they're not using tape backup anymore either. This is because internet bandwidth has become cheaper and faster. It is because hosted storage costs have gone down. It's because the general population, as you guys well know, has become more familiar with the concept of cloud backup. And everyone's size and value of digital data has increased. We're taking pictures with our phones. We're taking video with our computers. We are taking audio, and we're recording audio and video right now, in fact, and we're going to keep this, and we're going to put it in the cloud, and we're going to share it with you tomorrow. So the size and value of digital data is much, much greater than it ever has been in the past. And businesses and consumers alike are wise to keep it protected. Over on the bottom right of the slide here, we've got some stats from IDC, which is a research firm that you may have heard of. These stats are pretty interesting because they show the amount of opportunity that there are for you. And so these are third-party validated external stats that are pretty important. Only 16% of companies surveyed by the IDC are using online backup today. That's a really small number. 69% are evaluating it and or planning to use it in their businesses. That's a huge number and a huge opportunity for you. And additionally, IDC expects this to kind of reach its peak by 2014. So the next couple of years are going to be super exciting for the cloud backup arena, and especially for managed service providers. So we're going to talk about the kinds of things that you can provide that would be best for these guys, best for these SMBs. So what we call the price functionality inflection point is the point at which tape backup became too expensive or too much of an opportunity cost versus online backup. And it now is certainly at that point. It's less reliable. It doesn't have the feature of being off-site. It doesn't have the feature of geographic redundancy. And, of course, it's very, very vulnerable. So now we're at this magical point where online backup is all of a sudden much more attractive for businesses. And so why is it? And what are SMBs looking for? SMBs are looking for total data protection. They want to back up workstations, servers, laptops, and mobile devices. They want to back up absolutely everything. And that's what SOS Server Save is. That's what the SOS 360-degree partner program does for you. So before we get into more features of the SOS 360-degree partner program, we have a couple of questions that I want to stop and answer. Stephen Pierce asks, I'd like to know about future products, i.e. Linux support. Stephen's great question. We don't have Linux support right now, but we are certainly looking to by the end of this year. And comparisons against other products, particularly Mozy. We are getting into that very shortly. So we will compare not just against Mozy, but also to other big guys like Zebra, Intronis, and Zenith. So what of the SOS 360-degree partner program? We like to call it a business in a box. You can literally be selling online backup online, on foot, with sales materials within 3 weeks. We provide you a website template, which you won't find in a lot of other reseller programs. And this allows you to sell online backup online. We don't take a cut. You simply sell it. Very, very easy. You can customize the web page with your colors and your logo. And also there's integrated billing. So this is how we allow you to simply process the sale without the money exchanging hands with us. Very, very clean and easy. There is no hardware purchase required, which is also really attractive if you're getting into starting a business. You don't want to be saddled with a huge $5,000 USD fee for buying a box that you could have built yourself for $300. We also have weekly live trainings, which are very similar to this. There are technical and administrative trainings, which will teach you how to use your website template as well as the SOS Server Save package. We offer a rebranded client with your logo. We offer rebranded sales materials and rebranded marketing materials. We have a system that we call the Partner Resource Center, which allows you to log in and view training videos. You can watch the training videos anytime, as many times as you like, download these sales and marketing materials, and customize them to your heart's desire. Again, I definitely encourage you guys to ask me questions. I'm more than happy to answer any questions about the reseller program, as well as our software. So how do we stack up against other reseller programs? You guys have probably been investigating a lot, right? You probably talked to at least 2 or 3 other reseller programs when you're looking into adding online backup, or you might already work with one. You've probably found that their global points of presence are far fewer than ours. SOS Online Backup has 11 total global points of presence in the UK, in London, US, Canada, Australia, India, and Ukraine. So if you're concerned and you have clients that are concerned about keeping your data in the UK, we can absolutely accommodate that, and we're actually looking to add another data center in Amsterdam sometime in the next few months. So if you compare this to some of the other guys, Intronis, Doyens, Secret, and XD Backup, they have small numbers of data centers. Intronis has the most of anybody that we've got on the screen. They've got one in Boston and one in Los Angeles, which certainly may not fit your needs for wanting to keep data within the United Kingdom or in the EU. All right, if there are no questions here, we'll go ahead and move on to the SOS Online Backup product suite. We're definitely proud to be one of the most comprehensive solutions in the market. One of the great things about all of our accounts is that once you have one, you will have access to all of our other backup products. For example, if I back up my phone with the Android application, then I can log into my PC client and I can see all my photos that I backed up from my Android phone. It's very, very cool. A lot of other companies call these products by different names or they charge different fees for them, but we don't. All inclusive. So what about SOS Server Save? A few slides back we talked about why businesses would be interested in SOS Server Save and what are businesses looking for when they're looking up to back up to the cloud. Well, they want total endpoint protection. They want to back up all their servers, they want to back up their workstations and their laptops, and they want to be able to do it with all of one system, and SOS Server Save gives you that. Exchange Backup and Granular Recovery allows you to recover mail, message, contacts, and more. Bare Metal Image Creator allows you to create full images of SQL servers, SharePoint servers. You could even do one of a laptop if you wanted to, though that may not necessarily be the most efficient use of the tool. Online Backup and Recovery Manager allows you to perform backup and recovery for the bare metal images, files, and folders. Workstation Backup is simple file and folder backup, which also includes centralized management, so you can do this for multiple endpoints. And Premier Web Integration. This is the website template that I was mentioning earlier, and Stephen's going to take you through in a little bit. Lloyd has a question. Would this also allow you to back up a hosting account like Plesk or cPanel? Lloyd, I'm really sorry. I've never gotten that question before. So I would love to get in touch with your partner specialist if you know who he or she is and make sure that we can answer that question for you later. Good question. So this is what Stephen wanted to see. This is our comparison of SOS Server Save, SOS Online Backup for Business, which is effectively our business file and folder client, compared to Carbonite and Mozy. As you can see, the rubber really meets the road in total business backup. These other guys offer separate, very expensive solutions for business backup, and SOS Server Save really is in a different class as far as completeness and everything that it does. It offers Exchange, SQL, SharePoint backup, and is able to send large bare metal files up to the cloud very, very quickly. We like to say that we're able to back up approximately 40% faster than the majority of our competition. We recently released version 5.2, which is even faster than our original release. We also don't throttle your data, which a lot of other online backup companies do. However, if you find that it's advantageous based on the bandwidth that you have available for your certain client, you can throttle your data. We have a question from Mike. Mike says, many of my clients are small businesses without servers. Is your solution still relevant? Absolutely. We have a simple file and folder backup solution and very, very competitive rates and competitive feature sets. So you should definitely talk to your partner specialist about that. But while we're on the topic of partner specialists, does anyone not know who their partner specialist is here at SOS? Type in the chat and let me know, and I will make sure that after the call, someone is in touch with you. So since SOS Server Save doesn't really compete with Mozy and Carbonite, it's kind of in a different class. Who does it compete with? You guys have probably heard of Zenith, Intronus, and eVault, and a couple of those other guys that were mentioned on the other slide that I had comparing the reseller program, maybe XZ, maybe Asse. It again is a very different product in its fullness of features and flexibility. For example, when we get to the pricing slide, you'll see that one account that allows you to back up 5 servers allows you to also use your cloud space that comes with it in any manner that you want. You don't have to use it with the servers, for example. Also, timeline recovery is an awesome feature. You can go back as many years as you've been backing up with SOS and recover files from any specific day that you did a backup. We don't limit you to 30 or 45 days. This is really, really important for businesses, maybe like medical practices or CPAs, that have specific requirements on how long they have to keep data. If they're going to keep it, you better be able to recover it, right? So that's why we have SOS Timeline Recovery. We also offer unlimited versioning and unlimited file archiving, which is also really, really important to your file and folder client. This is just a quick overview of SOS ServerSafe version 5.2, which we released a few weeks ago, and we're already on to 5.2.2, which is an even faster and better version of SOS ServerSafe. And we're on this continuous improvement cycle with the products. We really believe that it is and can continue to be best of breed. And those deployments are automatic. You'll be able to do your updates without any serious human intervention, but of course, the team is here to help you and support you if you need them. So just to remind you, we are a 4-time PC Magazine Award winner, which we're pretty proud of, and we won again most recently in November 2011. What about the competitive landscape? How does this change things? So we have a couple of you on the line that are interested in only selling file and folder backup. That's great because that's our bread and butter. That's what we started out doing. So we used to live here in this space, in this little blue space that's on the screen, backing up files and folders for micro businesses and SMBs. And now our world has changed. If you want this SOS ServerSafe, we play in a much bigger playground. It's a much different competitive arena, and we cover a lot of spaces. So if you do enroll in the SOS 360-degree partner program and deploy SOS ServerSafe, you're going to find yourself to be a very, very competitive business at very, very competitive pricing. So what of that pricing? We have some solutions in the market, such as Doyen's or Datto, I believe, that are priced at approximately $25 per gigabyte per year wholesale. That's pretty hard for you guys to make a margin on. So what we've done is taken our prices way down to a price point that will allow you to make 30, 40, 50, 70% margin and allow you to do it very flexibly. So let's say you want to come in at SOS ServerSafe 5, which the majority of partners do. The monthly cost per server license would be $80. That's pretty cost effective, especially considering that for most of your clients, you'll be able to sell that for at least 3 times that price. We recommend a manufacturer suggested retail price of approximately $129 per month, but we do have partners that sell server licenses with 150 gigabytes, 200 gigabytes of backup space for much more than that. So the very bottom line is designed to tell you what's your expected monthly margin per package. Well, if you had ServerSafe 5 and you sold all of your server licenses to clients, you'd be making about $250 USD per month. If you upgraded and you had more clients that were doing online backup for their servers and you were able to purchase SOS ServerSafe 25, you'd be making approximately $2,300 per month, recurring revenue. We have a question from Clive. How is backup upload speed handled for home or very small businesses using ADSL lines with upload speeds of 0.38 megabits? Our backup speeds are completely indicated by the by the internet upload speed of a certain destination or a certain location. So unfortunately, those users with very, very low upload speeds would be limited by that upload speed. However, it would be no slower than that. Any other questions? I think this is a pretty good place to pause for questions, especially if there are any questions about pricing. No? Not getting any questions? Okay. If that's the case, then we will go ahead and move on to the product demo and Q&A, which is, of course, the meat of this, and I'm sure you guys are very, very excited to get to it. This here's a quick overview of how exactly the system is configured. So you're going to actually see it. You're going to see a quick Exchange backup and recovery, a quick bare metal backup and recovery, and our centralized management system, as well as our web integrations package and dashboard. Jonathan asked, what is the UK pricing? Is it just in dollars? It's just in dollars, which is a huge benefit to you given the exchange rate. But your partner specialist can absolutely help you with that. I'm sorry. David says, do you provide all sales materials for all the suggested selling prices? We do have a piece of sales material that offers a suggested selling price, yes. Harry doesn't know who his partner specialist is. Let me, before we get into the demo, quickly go to our contact page. Sorry about the blue screen, guys. We have a special international number for you guys to be able to call in and reach partner specialists, and I want to be able to give that to you before we move on here. All right, here you go. It is +1 310 878 2626. Let me write that to everyone. +1 310 878 2626. There you go. Okay. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to the demo. And please continue to type your questions into the chat, and we will answer them as we can.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Steve Zayas with the Partner Support and Delivery team. I'll be taking you guys through a quick demo of our ServerSafe program, the partner dashboard, as well as the management portal.
And I'm John Wagner, Chief Sales Engineer, to answer any technical questions you may have as well.
Okay. So
bear with us for just 1 second here while we get set up. It's a bit of a transition to get the backup program going.
Okay, so I am logged in onto a demo server right now, and I'm logged in currently into my partner dashboard, which you can think of as your command center moving forward. This is where you can get a sense of how many users you have provisioned as far as the account, how much space you have left to provision, access to your web package as well as the back end of the web package, which includes the tools, account creation, mailer tools, and a lot of good stuff that we'll go through in just a second. Up top here is the central management portal, where you'll get an idea of what's going on with your users' backups, if they're successful, or more importantly, if they fail, and why they have failed. And lastly, down at the bottom is your server backup and recovery box. This will give you an idea of how many server licenses you have left to provision, as well as how to provision them. And I'm clicking in here, and it's simple as assigning a username to that particular license key. So if I went to assign, I would just punch in the backup user that I just created or I have already had in existence to assign and associate the license key to that username. And lastly, the server backup executable itself, which is in essence a suite of applications used for both the ServerSafe solution as well as regular desktop solutions. So first things first, let's go through the server backup client here. And I'm just going to save the executable. So this is the ServerSafe executable, and as you can see, it's really a suite of applications. These three applications are used for the server solutions, for the bare metal backup, and to point that bare metal file up to the cloud using the online backup recovery tool, which Sheelan mentioned was the 5.2 client, and duals as both a desktop backup client as well, as it does not require a license. Over here is the EGR tool, Exchange Granular Recovery, for recovering a Exchange database in granular form. So if you lose one email, you can recover that in one individual email. Over here is the workstation backup. You can just disregard this. We're getting rid of this. This was our older version, which we just kept around for our older partners. So let's go into the bare metal backup creator here.
Top one.
Okay, got a question. Am I able to access the slideshow after the webinar?
Yes, absolutely. You'll be able to get it from your partner specialist tomorrow. It'll be put on the web, and you'll also receive an email with a recording.
Thank you. Okay, running through a local bare metal backup really quickly. So first thing I want to do is back up. It's going to ask me the drive letter that I want to back up. So if I were to select a C drive, it would tag the operating system. Pretty much a full system backup. In this particular case, since this is a much smaller drive letter and it has my Exchange database residing on that drive letter, and for the purposes of demoing the EGR tool, I'm going to just back up this E drive. It's going to ask me the destination, which would be my quote-unquote stage machine. In this case, it's just a separate drive. And here are the backup schedules. So we recommend the continuous incremental option down at the bottom, which allows you to do both a more powerful VSS differential backup and a smaller incremental backup.
Yeah, it uses less local and online storage space because it only requires one full backup and then just incrementals forever. That's one of the great things about the technology. And it does have built-in corruption detection of the images. So there's no need really in this day and age of doing lots of full backups.
And as you can see, it's rather flexible when it comes to how many times you want the backup per day. So I can manipulate that just by changing this, lowering it, or raising it. A compression method, I can choose standard or high. It's already going to be compressed, so we just recommend standard. If you want to encrypt the file, you can absolutely do so. And as John mentioned, there is integrity checkers and self-healing incremental recovery features that are involved here. And here's one of the checkboxes for that feature. And regarding the encryption, another neat little feature is the fact that you can choose the strength of the algorithm. So all the way to 256 AES, which is the most secure. Oops, I don't want to use a password, and let's go ahead and run the backup. Let's show the details just so we have an idea what's going on. And this would be a good time if you guys have any questions while we're waiting for the backup to take place.
One thing to mention, though, this backup, this little log here is detailed. It does show everything that's going on, all the positive tasks as well as negative. If they're negative, they will be red, and there's a code associated with that, which tells you exactly, what issue to fix. So if there is any issues, which is rare, you'll be able to fix it fast. This software package right here, the Child Protect version, this works on Windows 2000 and later, even SPS 2011. That's all supported.
We have a question from Stephen Pierce. Will SS be selling direct as well? Yes, we do. But you'll be very, very happy to know that our retail price on direct is approximately 30% higher than it is wholesale for you guys. You can still remain competitive.
And we got another question from Derek. What bandwidth is your demo working with?
What bandwidth are we working with? Well, right now, as far as that's not really bandwidth. That's local. So where it says throughput, that's the connection speed to the backup that's being created. So it is going to the demo server we're using is a virtual machine. So it is going to a storage appliance that's on our network. So that's just local bandwidth throughput. Hopefully that answers your question. Also notice that, in the software that you have that network view on the right-hand side, that's also a central management plugin. No, I'm sorry, it's not a plugin. It's actually built into the software. So you're able to actually manage other servers from each installation of Shadow Protect, which is nice. What Steve is showing you here is he's going to show you these are our images we have. There's usually a full image and then incrementals. And he's able to right-click on any of those and choose Quick Mount. And we're able to actually mount that image as a drive letter. And we could pull out a folder or a file. Additionally, with it mounted, we then can perform an exchange granular recovery. I believe he's going to do that right now.
Yes, so I've just mounted it to my G drive letter. And now I can open up my Exchange Granular Recovery tool. Let's start fresh.
And while Stephen's doing that, we have a question from Stephen Pierce. Can I manage the backups via web portal, or does it require each server to be logged on and managed individually? John, can you answer that question?
Let me see here. Just want to make sure I get it correctly. Can I manage backups via web portal? So the Shutterbank backups, they cannot be managed via the web portal as far as because they're local backups. And the central management is actually built into the software itself. So you would have to actually either install the software on your PC at your office, and then maybe make like a VPN connection to your customer. You probably do it that way. We have some partners that have figured that out. But you, as far as managing the backups via the web, as far as setting up the backup set themselves, that's not possible at the moment. But we are working on trying to get that integrated.
Thanks for your question, Stephen.
Okay, so I opened up the Exchange Granular Recovery tool, and the first thing it wants to ask me is the source of the EDB file that we've just backed up. I'm going to browse for that, open it up.
And we're browsing to that mounted drive letter. So basically our image, mounted drive letter, and then we can go inside there and point to the Exchange database file. So what we have here in front of us is that our licensing is also tied to our software, on the backup software. So it looks as though is that we may have been logged out one time, so we need to have that installed. We have On-Backup Recovery Manager installed. And sorry about the delay, a little bit of a hiccup here.
So while John fixes that up, it's also a great time for questions. If you don't have any, I can talk a little bit about our UK data center. It is a military-grade data center. It has humidity controls. It has proper temperature controls. It has 24/7 watch. It's absolutely military-grade through and through in every sense of the word. We call them SAS 70 certified. They're also ISO certified, and they should meet all of your clients' requirements. Are there any specific questions about doing online backup in the UK or in the EU that we can try to answer for you? Stephen Pierce asks, can we feed large amounts of data by office means?
Can you describe what you mean by that, Steve?
Offline. Offline means.
Offline? Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I believe you can, right, John?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if it means like by file type or like we have a selection where it says like documents, images, movies, music on our My Account system, where basically the data is arranged by media type or file type. But only our application there.
PME maybe? Data by
Yeah, do you possibly mean physical media upload? That is a service that we offer.
Okay, let's see if we get the working. Sorry for the delay there.
Yeah, Stephen, what you're describing is exactly what we call a PMU, a physical media upload. So for everyone else, Stephen was asking if I have a 1 to 2 terabyte or so file, it would take days to upload. Can I seed the initial backup with physical media? Yes, absolutely, we do offer that. Riza has a question. Do you have any plans for a local data center in South Africa? I asked it because local bandwidth is almost free here. Not at the time, though we're certainly seeing a great deal of interest in South Africa, so it's certainly something that we can discuss internally. And we may have a plan for you in the next quarter or so. And Tim asked, do you offer a restore with physical media? I think that's probably the same question that Stephen had.
Yeah, we call that a PMR. So yeah, we definitely offer both those services. What we have here on the top, we have the source, which we have the EDB file, and you can see, we have a few mailboxes in there, and we can access any of the items in the mailbox. And you can see we have some messages over here. We can open these messages and read them, and we can also export anything we need to. We can export the entire user mailbox as a PST file, like that. We can export a message, probably as message format. And then also, let's say that we do have a user that lost an email message. What we'll do here is we'll show a recovery of that. And looks like we have some. What we're going to do is we're going to show you how using the search tool. So I've just gone to the user's mailbox here, and I'm going to use the search tool. And you can see up here we have user one's mailbox selected. We're going to type in the criteria. So let's say the user told us, hey, the subject line or the body of the email had the word Nortel in it, and the message was from user 2. And that'll help us find the message faster. And hit find now. And there we go. We have a couple messages there. And we can open this up. And let's say this is our correct message. Okay, so they wanted an attachment in there. And all you have to do is just simply drag this over into the inbox like that and let go. And it does say one duplicate message not copied. So if the message is already there, it's not going to re-add it for you. So you do have duplicate protection. So if it was not there, then it would just add it for you. Let me just do this real quick here. I think that this has been covered too many times for demo purposes. So just to show you one more time how it looks for recovery, we'll type in Nortel, we'll type in user 2, and then we can just take this message here and we drag it over to the inbox, let go, and then you'll see it be added. There we go. So the same drag and drop method can be used for any item in the EDB file. It can be calendar, contacts, entire mailbox. You can drag and drop onto the server name and re-add that. It'll override everything else that's in there. I'm sorry, I won't override. It'll just add data. And you can also use this for an Exchange migration. You just drag the entire EDB file down here, and if the mailboxes aren't there, it'll actually create mailboxes for you. It'll migrate data. So it's very, very powerful, very simple to use as well. You can also open up PST files if you want to export anything out of there. And it also has the ability for Open Target CIS, so client access. Any questions?
Yeah, Malcolm's got a really great question. I have a customer of 6 laptops. At the moment, I use one backup product to gather data from the individual laptops to one main laptop, then use Mozy Pro to back up all the gathered data. How would I use SOS in this case? How many licenses would I need to back up the individual laptop? I have really good news for you, Malcolm. You would only need one SOS Online backup account to do that, because we will allow you to back up unlimited PCs and laptops. And I assume that the reason that you're doing what you're doing is because you can't do that with your current backup product.
Yeah, the online backup software that you see in front of us, which I just pulled up, that is not license-based. However, we do say that, you get like 1,000 licenses to use with that, but you were able to create, like Shaylin said, you're able to create one backup account for each customer, and then you can install the software on as many Windows, PCs or servers as you like, and you can back up data, and there's no licensing issue. And also, in regards to recovery, some of our competitors make it a little more difficult to get access to your data where it's a little bit slower. Not with us. You can just install the software, log in, and do a recovery or backup on any other machine, even if it's outside your customer office. There's no IP checking. There's no activation necessary. So what you see here is very simple to use interface. We're not trying to complicate anything here. We have set up online backup, and you very simply will want to select any folders or files you want for online backup. In this case, we have folders and files we want to back up, as well as we do have images. So let's say I wanted to back up my documents folder with that, or let's say you had some data on one of your other drive letters here, and then let's say you want to back up your images. Our images are stored on our F drive here. We can do that. However, if your images are already, if any of them are mounted, we need to dismount them first before you try and back them up. Otherwise, you'll get a failure. So I'll do is quick dismount here. And what I want to do is I want to make sure my F drive, where my images are being stored, is backed up all the time. Anytime a new incremental backup is added, we'll get that. This is the last screen of the backup, so it's just very easy to set everything up. And you might want to have a backup when no one's logged in. There's support for that, your domain name and your username. We have our frequency, so hourly, daily, weekly, monthly. And then we also have, we can type in your email address or multiple email addresses for an email report of the backup. You receive those after every backup is finished. Okay, and then this is finish. So finish will either start the backup for you right away, or if you wanted it to, you could just change your settings, and then you could have the backup run later. And then you can see here it's going through all the files in all my folders, and either it's checking to see if they've been backed up or if they haven't. And if they haven't been backed up, it'll say it's transferring. So you see it's pretty fast. We do what we call a streaming backup, where it's going to upload files, or actually bits of the files at a time. Like usually 10 megabytes at a time for huge files. And while it's uploading it, it's doing the encryption and compression as it's streaming to the cloud. So this is about 40% faster from our previous backup, where we used to copy the files to your hard drive, compress, encrypt, and zip, and then upload. So we're very happy about this, and we've always been 40% faster than our competitors. But since we made this change, I guess you could say we're 80% faster. But realistically, I mean 40% faster than our competitors is quite an achievement, and we're pretty proud of that. So we also don't do any throttling of our backups either. So while that's going up there, we can start showing you some recovery methods.
Yeah, we got a couple of questions here. First one that I can see is from Lloyd. Can the backups have exclusion lists?
Yes, we do have an exclusion where you can type in file types, and they would be excluded from the backup.
And then we have a question from Carrie. There are issues in the UK with Data Protection Act, and viewing emails can be seen as an infringement. Many firms have built into their contracts the rights to view any emails from their work email system. There is precedence for identified email auditors to be able to audit emails, but from no one else. Does your interface allow users/administrators only to see email areas for which they have responsibility?
Well, our software, we do encrypt your files, so you only the customer can access those files. However, we're not going to be able to. We're not holding a read-only version of your Exchange database. I mean, if you're backing up Exchange, which we're saying emails, we're backing that up using backing up as an image, and there's an option to add additional encryption to that image. And when we back that image up to the cloud, we are encrypting it again. So the only way you're going to actually be able to view any email data is if you use the EDR software program. And that can only be accessed by the person who has access to the backup account or the images.
Yeah, and to this point, SOS Online Backup doesn't have access to any other information. That's part of our military military-grade security pledge, really, in our process is that no SOS Online Backup or data center employee has the ability to view any data.
Yeah, and with that, what you'd be using for that, you'd be using what we call UltraSafe. And UltraSafe is the method you choose for creating your backup account, where there's no password recovery method. And what that does is it removes any way of recovering the password if you lose it for yourself and SOS. And that's the most secure you can get. So I think that's the option you choose when you're creating your online backup account.
David has a question. Does the tool check what bandwidth is available in Throttle, i.e. if there is other traffic on the connection to Throttle upload speed?
Well, we don't really check, we don't really, have, we don't really do a bandwidth test. However, we're going to work with your router just like any other program would. We're going to try and back up as fast as we can. However, when we're doing a streaming backup, we're streaming about 10 megabytes at a time for each of your large files. So with that streaming backup, it's not going to be a constant stream of using your bandwidth. However, we're going to be talking to your router, and we're saying, hey, give me as much as you got while I'm uploading a single file. And at that time, if another application on the computer is trying to access the upload part of the bandwidth, our product, of course, we talking to the router, and the router say, hey, another machine wants you some bandwidth, I got to slow you down. And that's pretty typical with most applications. And we haven't really seen too much of an issue because most people or most customers, they don't use the upload part of the bandwidth for day-to-day use. They use the download. When they're using the internet, they're downloading a web page. They're not doing much uploading. However, if you are having concern about customers that are using terminal services or remote desktop services, I can understand the issue possibly with bandwidth. But after your first backup is done, there should be no concern with bandwidth. There should be no bandwidth concerns because we're only going to look for the changes of files, and because we were done a full backup. And just doing backup the changes of files might take you an hour a day or an hour and a night. Even if you were to do it hourly, your changes will be minuscule and it wouldn't affect your bandwidth.
We have one more question from Mike. Is it possible to view backup files online, e.g. view an image file prior to downloading it?
No, it's not possible at the moment because the way that the software is structured. I mean, the image files are powered by our partner StorageCraft, and you have to use that Shadow Protect application to view anything inside the images.
Can you see the terminal file from Classy?
Well, you could. I'm sorry. I'm confused by what you asked. Can you explain again?
Yeah. Is it possible to view certain backup files online, e.g. view an image file prior to downloading it?
So if it's in our cloud, we can't actually view the data inside that file unless we download it first.
Okay, I think now's a really good time to move into our web integration package demo, and this is, again, like we talked about earlier, really integral to the reseller program and very important for you guys to be able to sell online backup online and lessen the amount of effort, energy, time that you need to put into selling simple file and folder backup.
Okay, so a way to access the web dashboard or the back end of the web pages is to launch the web packager. Okay, so here is the website admin dashboard, which will entail all the tools you need to create accounts, to admin the admin users, to manipulate the plans that you offer, as well as neat little additional features that we've just recently inputted, such as the coupon feature, the nice little built-in CMS to edit the front-end pages, as well as the support ticketing system and mailer tool. So really quick here, I'm going to show you what the front end of the user pages look like, just so we can juxtapose them side by side. And here you can see you can directly go into the pricing and sign up as a customer, locate all the plans you need to view, select one, submit, and go to checkout. If I needed to gather any information to make an informed decision as a customer, I can do so with all of these links here. So
And all of these pieces of information are completely customizable for you. There's a really cool WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get, editor inside this portal that will allow you to type any text you need. You don't need to be an HTML expert to use this tool. It's kind of like Microsoft Office. There's simple tools asking you what kind of color maybe you want to change text to. If you want to put in an image, it's very, very easy to develop a web presence if you don't have one already. And also, regarding the pricing page, you can customize your pricing too.
Absolutely. So the page I'm on right now is the CMS, and I have the ability to manipulate my homepage straight from the back end. So if I wanted to revise any of these texts or remove them, I can absolutely do so. If I wanted to change this image here, I could just double click it, link it to a URL, link to file on server, and this will open up a little file manager that we've defaulted a few buttons in for you. If you have an image on your computer or machine that you'd like to use, simply browse, locate, upload to the file manager, and now it's available for you to use.
Basically what we're trying to say is, we're providing you like an e-commerce website, and, you're able to make changes to it as you need to. The default package itself is a template, and most people are happy with it, but if you want to make changes, we give you the power to do it yourself.
Exactly.
And at this point, a lot of questions often come about how much does this cost? Well, it's included. In the SOS Server Save reseller package, it's completely included because we want you to have a web presence and we want you to be able to sell in your local area and broader. We want you to be as big as you can possibly be, and a web presence is definitely necessary in doing that.
And if you wanted to get in the source code, there's a little source code button here, and you can get rather creative if you know some scripting.
Yep. Are there any questions about the web integration package? It's a pretty all-encompassing tool, but the good news is that once you become a partner, you'll be working with Stephen and our other partner deployment team specialists to get this up and running properly, and they will help you with any questions that you need answered to customize it for you.
Okay, we got a question from Stephen Pierce. Can you restore to bare metal? Do you have to use a Prudis solution?
Yeah, absolutely. When you're backing up your system as an image, we have an ISO disk, ISO file. You can convert to a disk if you want to, but you can use that to recover to the same hardware, dissimilar hardware, or even a virtual environment. So let's say virtual environment, you were on Hyper-V or VMware or Zendesk. You'd create a new VM. You would say, I want to boot to this ISO. And when you boot into that ISO and that new VM, you then are able to load your drivers. You're able to see your volumes show up, format your volumes as disk, do the restore, restart, and then basically that image will come up as your virtual machine instantly. And then same thing for dissimilar hardware. So yes, you do need a boot disk to do that. However, there's another method you could use for emergencies. All the later versions of our partner StorageCraft software, you're able to use for free in a recovery or management task. Which what I'm saying that is they have this option in there where it's called a virtual boot, and you're able to actually virtual boot any of your images as a virtual machine, utilizing the free Oracle VirtualBox. So this is all, it's kind of seamless. It's all built in, it's integrated. And you probably have this software installed on the machine where your images are being saved to, like say a backup server or like a desktop, and you actually could boot your images as a virtual machine and be back up and running. It's very similar to using like Microsoft Virtual PC or VMware Workstation, something like that. So there's a couple options there you have.
Riza has a question. How does the purchasing and transactions work on the site? Who handles the transaction? Your merchant gateway handles the transaction. So it's totally hands-off from us. We don't take any cut of the action. The money goes straight into your bank account. Mike asked, do e-commerce payments via the demonstrated website go via your payment gateway or utilize our own gateway? It's your gateway.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve. We actually provide the gateway for you.
Yeah, we actually provide two 3 gateways actually. Authorize.net, which is currently U.S. and Canadian based, so it really doesn't apply to you guys. The PayPal, which is our most popular, and we just offered a new gateway, eWay.
Yeah, PayPal Pro lets your customers either pay with just regular PayPal account, but also if you choose PayPal Pro, there is an option in there for them just to put in a credit card. So it's very easy for you.
Exactly, so they don't get redirected and they'll stay on your page. So to input that information, you could just go down to the View Gateway section, and let's say you've already registered for a PayPal Pro account. They would send you the credentials. You would go in here, punch in the credentials, submit them, and then activate that for use. And that would directly communicate with PayPal. So anytime the customer directly signs up through the user front sign-up page, that credit card information will make that handshake with PayPal totally independent of SOS. So we have another question here. We have our own gateway accounts with SEC Pay. Can we use this? At this point, David, we are currently looking into integrating the solution in our gateways with other merchant gateways. I will have to talk to my boss, which is Mr. Derek Wood, who you'll probably be in contact with as well to get more details about that. So I will have to get back to you on that, David, with a more accurate timeline as far as integrating different gateways.
Yeah, but for now it is Authorize.net, PayPal Pro, and eWay.
All right, so let's move on to the central management and the dashboard.
Right, so we're going to take a look at the monitoring tool that we provide you in the management or the partner dashboard, which is this guy right here. So if I click into this portal, it'll show me all the users that have backed up or are currently backing up. Nice little, green, yellow / orange, and a red color code here.
So the green is, showing you backups that are occurring or completed. Yellow or orange might be backup completed with a little bit of errors. And then red is backup didn't happen, backup failed, that kind of thing. So you're going to know right away which customer and machine is having an issue. And on the magnifying glass on the right will actually give you some details of the backup, which is very helpful. And that way you can just go to one pane of glass and get an update of all your backups.
Pretty straightforward.
Have we shown the My Account system yet, Steve, as far as doing any recoveries of online?
Like the web portal?
Yeah. All right, we're going to show you the web portal next. The web portal is a generic, really branded website that the URL is generic, but after one of your users logs in, your logo will be displayed. You see here, right, very generic. And after Steve clicks log in here, you can see we have Acme. That's just an example of some of the branding. And your brand will show up as well. So what this is for either you or your customer to go to use any web browser, any computer, and be able to share or recover any of their folders or files. Now, there's one limitation to this, is that you can share or recover any folder or file up to 500 megabytes. If you need to recover anything larger than 500 megabytes, you can just use the software, the backup software installed on the machine, or you can download it, and you will recover lots of folders based on date if you want to. But typically, most people, they need access to something under 500 megs, and so that's why they would choose this method. It's their preferred method. A website, and they can find the file they need. There's also search options in here, find the file name or file type. There's versioning in here. There's a version drop down next to each file. So if you want to look at a Word document from last week, you'd be able to see that by date and time. And you can see below we have systems. There's several systems we can access any of our data that's backed up. And so you can see we have the share recover thing. If you hit share, you basically brought to a form where you type in the name of the share. You type a little message in there. You can edit that, and then you can click friend on the right-hand side, type in the first name, email address, and share. It's very, very fast. Basically, you're able to actually get a file that's been backed up and actually send to someone in under 60 seconds. And that's probably the fastest way I've ever seen of actually getting a file that's been backed up to a user. So what they get is they get an email that's branded and it has a link in there, no attachments, because attachments can cause problems or be stripped. So they get a link to then download that file or folder. And that link will be available as long as you leave it as shared. Otherwise, if you want to unshare some of those files, right here, go to the View File Shares and you unshare it. Next thing I want to show you the reporting. Reporting is pretty great. We can get actually a summary of all the machines backed up, the total amount of space they're using, and we have another report that actually will show you also like a date range. So right now we clicked on the machine backup details. It shows all of our backups, all our backup machines here. And it shows last backup date, the total amount of storage each machine is using. So I'm sure that's very, very helpful to you, even for your customer.
So we got a question from Lloyd here. Can clients view their backup statuses here too? I think you asked that while we were in the partner management portal. That management portal is just for admin use. However, they can absolutely access the status of the backups in this web portal.
Yeah, the central portal is for the partners. This portal here is the web portal for customers. So if the customer is managing their own backups, or let's say you both know what the password is, you both would log in here and check the status of backups, or you'd be able to recover files. If only you were managing the backups for customers, if they want to see the status of the backups, one thing you'd be able to do is have the backup reports be emailed to them and you, or just give them access to this portal. But this portal was designed for the customers to use. However, we do understand that our partners also manage the backups for the customers. So either way, that's how we get it done. And when you're running a date range search like Stephen's doing here, is he's doing this based off an entire month, and it does need a little bit of time to compile the report. So it's not something that can be instant because there's plenty of machines that have backed up, and we have to calculate that.
And this web portal is really great for on-the-go type situations where your client is away from the native machine and doesn't have that client installed and doesn't want to install the client on a foreign machine. So they'll go to any web browser that has internet access, punch in this URL, enter their username and password, and we'll have access to the data within their account.
And on your e-commerce website, there is a link that says web login, and that's where your customers will be able to go to and get here very quickly. So they won't have to memorize this URL. They just have to memorize your website to do that. Like right here, he has login. That's how you would do that. And then there is a mobile portal as well, and basically it's just m.managed-offsite-backup.net, and you'd be able to do there as well from your smartphone if you want to share and recover any folder file up to 500 megs.
Mike would like to know if there are viewers in the mobile portal online, like for images or PDF.
So there's not viewers built in. However, when you open up a PDF or a music file, it'll start playing it on your device or view it on your device. There is viewers in my account system, but the view option is only for approved media types. It's not for Word documents or PDFs, but you will be able to maybe look at a picture, watch a video, listen to a song, and it'll say view next to those files when it's approved. Any other questions, concerns?
Yeah, I think we're getting pretty close to wrapping up the webinar, so if there are any final questions that the three of us can help answer, we are more than happy to do so. And again, the number to contact our sales team is +1-310-878-2626. Hopefully you can also see that in the chat. And then for those of you who did not know who your partner specialist is, I will find out after the webinar, after we conclude, and make sure that they get in touch with you. And I'm not seeing any more questions come in. We'll hang on for just a minute or so longer. Okay, David asked, how many UK partners do you have already? It's a really good question. I don't know the answer to off the top of my head. Sorry, we really don't know. But we can definitely have your partner specialist answer that for you. Is there any other questions from anybody on the line? If not, we'll go ahead and sign off. But first, I just remembered we got to give away the Kindle code. That code is K5Z10. So when you call in your partner specialist, give them that code, and then you will be entered into the drawing for an Amazon Kindle. Thanks again for your participation. We hope you all have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you.